What's up, guys? M. Jones back in the house again for another in-theater review. Today, I saw on December 23rd, 2013, Anchorman 2, The Legend Continues, directed by Adam Mackie and starring pretty much the whole same cast from about 10, 11 years ago of Anchorman, and a few new parts. I must say, I had so much expectations for this movie because I love the first movie. You know, I think that movie got kind of a cult following. It didn't do great when it first came out, and then I think everybody bought the DVD, and, you know, people just watched it like crazy in college, and it blew up. Well, this movie, I think it was maybe one of the worst movies I've ever seen. I'm going to say this way. There might be a few spoilers here, too. But not too much to ruin the movie or any of its funny parts. I'm not gonna ruin funny parts. But the movie was just awful. And I saw the movie today with Jim Bob, and unfortunately he couldn't be here to tell me how he thought of the movie. But he did give me a little thing to tell you people out there. We both thought it was terrible. If I would give this movie 0 to 5 stars, I would give it a healthy 1. And it's only because it was just great to see all the guys and gals from the first movie, and it was just cool to see them on cinema. That's pretty much it. But it was awful. You know, the movie was, from beginning to end, it was good, awful, bad. It was pretty good, bad. It was really good, really bad, and then sort of good, and then like, what the hell, confusing, bad, maybe good, awful bad. Like, it was never consistent. The movie never at all had any consistency to its plot, to what I was trying to watch. Like, I didn't enjoy any of it. Except for maybe like 2 or 3 parts. There's a great scene in the RV, so funny. There was some really cool cameos, but it didn't really matter because it was so choppy how all these famous actors and actresses all came about. But it was just such a weird, strange movie, you know. And it all picks up basically that Veronica Cornerstone, Christina Applegate, and Ron Burgundy, Will Ferrell, they are an action team news. In New York City, not San Diego. And basically one of them gets fired and the other one doesn't. And the one that doesn't gets a big raise. I'm not going to tell you who. So basically they have to find a way to reboot their Rocco's in the house. They have to find a way to get the new action team back again from San Diego. You know, like the Paul Rudd and Steve Carell and David Koechner. So, obviously, if what I'm telling you right now, I'm not telling you spoilers, but I'm kind of making it obvious who got fired. So anyway, they get the whole team back, and Dylan Baker, who was in Trick or Treat and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, contacts Ron Burgundy because he's now one of those guides at the Dolphin Show, which that was actually funny. I'll give that a funny nod. And he says, we want to start a 24-hour news network, which, you know, to the chagrin of Ron Burgundy, he's like, no, don't do that. It's an awful idea, which now today, modern times, is a great idea. But this was set in like 1979, so they didn't think that was a good idea, or 1980. So they get on this GNN, Global News Network, and it's pretty much really like popularized by Jack Lyme, who is James Marsden, and he's like the hot new anchor that everyone likes, and you know Ron Burgundy does not like, and vice versa. So basically, that all gets started, and Ron Burgundy says, you know what? Why don't we just like start telling really cool news, not what people need to hear, but what people want to hear. So like all the good juicy stuff. So he's basically saying how the news anchors in that time got everything going, and the juiciness and the gossip stuff of news. So that they got real popular, and all 4 guys back together again, and so like that kind of picked up, and that was kind of cool to see that. But just the movie was so awkward and just strange, and that brings me to my next point. Do you remember how the first Anchorman, Steve Carell, played Brick, and he had very subtle parts in the movie? Like he played a really dumb guy, very low IQ guy, but he was funny in the movie because they didn't use him too much. So his subtleness was good, and his left field comments were funny. Kind of the same path as Leslie Chow. You know Ken Jeong, whatever, from Anchorman 1, from Hangover 1, excuse me, the first Hangover. He was great in it because there wasn't too much of him, so I looked forward to seeing him in the first one. And then Hangover 3 came about, and he was just used too much, and he was annoying. Sort of like Hangover 2. Well, this is how Anchorman 1 and 2 was for Brick. He was so annoying and stupid, silly, and just nonsense bullshit in the second one. Like, I was so sick of him in this movie. I just didn't really like him. I didn't think he was funny. So that's one thing I hated about this movie, is they just overused Brick and they completely underused Brian Fantana and Champ Kynes' roles. You know, Paul Rudd and David Koechner. So that was annoying because it was so much of Brick. And it's just like, oh God, he's so stupid. It's so idiotic nonsense. So I hated that. But, you know, just the movie was just too long also. It was like 2 hours plus the previews in the beginning. So I didn't get out of there until like 2 hours and 25 minutes. And it's just, I was so annoyed. The movie could have been an hour and 40 minutes easily. You know, there was some funny parts with Will Ferrell and all his, to the beards of Zeus, like that kind of stuff. That was funny. Like, that parts were funny. And he had a whole bunch of new ones. I'm not going to ruin it. I'm not going to ruin it for you. But the movie, a solid 1 out of 5. You know, Jim Bob told me 2 out of 5, and I have to probably agree with him. To the extent that it was not good at all. And I really wish they probably didn't make this movie, because it just makes the first one look like a godsend, and the second movie is just shit. So I would not recommend this movie. Maybe check it out if you're a huge Anchorman fan, which I did. I was greatly disappointed. So if you don't want to be disappointed, probably don't go see this in the theater. Save your money. Maybe watch it if you're crazy bored sometime in your home. But until next time, you take it easy, and bye.